Growing up in Omaha all my life, I went to predominantly black schools. 1978, they started the busing situation, so I got bused to a predominantly white school, and it was a culture shock. But we survived it.
I think people, regardless of wherever they live, they want to be able to live in a safe community. They want to be able to see people that look like them and have the opportunity of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Something that every American does not have. You know, I tell people a lot of times the empty lots and empty spots that you see throughout this community have been this way for 50 plus years. You've got an area of the city that has just become more dilapidated over time and very little investment back into the area. Well, redlining is where an imaginary boundary has been created that prohibits a group of people from access or moving out of that area. And it's an area that's determined to be risk area for investment purposes. You know, we tend to focus on the impact that redlining has had on, in particularly African Americans, for moving outside the red line, but we don't address the true issue of how it impacts within the red line, because it does prohibit home ownership, and we know home ownership creates wealth. It creates generational wealth. Well, let's just say where I lived was within that red line. 1968 was when they passed the Fair Housing Act, which basically abolished redlining. I myself did not know that it was redlined or it was an area where only black people lived. I myself didn't know that I was poor until I became an adult. No one's poor because they want to be poor. No one's homeless because they want to be homeless. No one is getting evicted out of their home because they want to have their children sleep in their car tonight. When something doesn't impact you or affect you, you don't see a problem, you know? But if it impacts you and affects you and you're wondering where you're gonna sleep tomorrow, then it's a different thing.
Culturally, as far as housing goes, I've always had a roof over my head. My grandparents and my aunts and uncles, we all their own property. We owned our homes. So I never experienced any situation like I'm in now. It just seems like, you know, you take 2 steps forward and then you end up taking 1 back. But instead of taking 1 back now, it's like I done took 5 backwards. I just hope that me saying what I'm saying right now will not only help myself, but can help other people.
My husband's from the Santee Sioux tribe. It's where he was taken back out to Santee to be buried. And I'm Blackfoot. I've heard the misconceptions that natives get a lot of money for their land and all this stuff. And I'm like, where did you hear that? It's all about the land. It's not about the people on it. And that's what it should be.
This is the trailer that they were trying to take from me when they took me to court. They were asking for a seizure of property. They were trying to get the title and seize this.
There is a lot of things impacting natives right now, including, you know, with the housing and all of that, the COVID. For myself, as a native, what's impacted me the most right now is just my finances, due to, you know, the recent events that have caused me to take time off from work, trying to get, you know, like unemployment going and other assistance stuff. It's been slow going.
The root of problems for some of Native Americans in housing is, I feel like, if they didn't grow up with the mindset of, you can be a homeowner or you're just going to rent. The biggest housing concerns in Nebraska, I think, is there's not enough housing. There's not enough funding to help us get housing. We provide affordable housing throughout 15 county service area of the Ponca tribe of Nebraska. We take applications from all Native Americans. Our focus is, to make sure that it's safe housing, healthy housing. Our goal is to help tenants and applicants become self-sufficient. I do believe that the problems stem from, the history of how things, were done in the past. So at one time, we weren't counted a tribe anymore. So people had to kind of move out and do other things and find jobs and off their reservation, because at one time they did actually have land. But there's not sometimes a lot of stuff to go back to, especially if you went back to reservation for jobs and things like that. A lot of that keeps them down or keeps them, from not reaching out and doing better.
Throughout my childhood and everything, there was a lot of years that we didn't have a home. I've spent winters in tents at campsites out at the lake.
The eviction, it really opened my eyes. So I decided to start a nonprofit outreach program for homeless individuals, Native Americans focused, but not exclusive. The name of the organization is going to be Bob's Place. Bob's my husband. He was more than willing to help those that needed it. To be able to carry something on in his name, it means the world to me. It's like a piece of Bob is still living on, that he's still doing what he would have done in life. Getting his word out there that you need to stand up for yourself, you need to be strong, you need to go for what you want, and not take pity on yourself.